A better word for a window cleaner. Now, I've opened a business. You and me have opened a, me and Vic have opened a window cleaning business. We go down the high street and say, we clean windows. It may not get a lot of traction, right? But if I say, I'm a vision technician. A vision technician. Did I lie? Did I steal? No. Change some words just to make it more relevant to you. Now I can talk to you about what it takes to be a good vision technician. I can tell you how you need better surfaces on your window so you can see more clearly. I can tell you the harm that UV may cause you. I have a story now. But again, all I did was change a few words. You really have to be very careful with the words you use. My book, This Is No Cash, No Problem here, is the #1 best-selling book. It was #1 in all 3 categories. #1 in all 3 categories, you can see here. #1 in all 3 categories. I only actually used 3 words to do that. I only just used 3 words to do it. Because I'm a marketer, I'm a power marketer. I know the impact that words can have. The words that I used to take my book to #1, and it was #1 actually before it was released. It was a bestseller before it was released. It was #1 when it was actually released. But I knew the words were important. So I said to everybody, all my friends, I said, friends, everybody, you've got to buy my upcoming book. That's all I did. I told everybody in my social network and everybody I ever knew, please buy my upcoming book. And I could have said, just buy my book. No, my upcoming book. It's something that's going to be useful, it's going to be engaging, it's going to be exciting, you're going to learn something. This upcoming book. It's very powerful, just simple words. One word that can make you, everybody around this room right now? Very good. So you see how words can make people do things. Wow, I found that quite surprising. Now, the official terminology that we give to this in marketing is copywriting. So if you're talking to a marketing professional and you said, how do you, your wordsmith said, no, I'm a copywriter, And most of the original marketers were all copywriters. So if you look at Facebook, they have the power editor versus a useful editor because it provides its powerful editing, right? It was very interesting in San Francisco, San Francisco Giants won the World Series. The World Series? They just played America. It was America. It's just playing within America. Where did the World Series come from? But again, words are weapons of marketers. Words change everything and anything that you do. So, if I say, I'm looking for a job, can you help me? There's 10 words there, right? I'm looking for a job, can you help me? Versus, I think I can help you, can we meet soon? It's just same 10 words. I just changed it a little bit, right? So if I'm talking to somebody, I'm a marketing professional, I have to speak to people every day, I will never tell somebody I'm looking for a job. Because if I'm doing a project, so it's a job, right? It's a job. But I'm not going to call somebody and say, hey, John, do you have a job? Can you help me? I say, no, I think I can help you. Can we meet soon? So be very careful in the way you use your words. Spend time. I mean, most of the great copywriters who spend a lot of time just working on the headline. If you go back to the old days of marketing and you study what they did, they would spend 80% on their time just writing headlines, because the headline is the ad of the ad. So, if you want to change your world, change your words. If you want to change your world, change your words. Powerful value propositions, which is everything what I've been talking about this evening, is really no more than a strategic choice of the right words. That's what makes a value proposition, a strategic choice of the right words. Now you can add value because you chose your words very strategically. So, we talked a bit about marketing, we talked about the value proposition, we talked about words. Now let's move into a little bit about real world and job hunting, because a lot of people here really want to see, well, how do I use this for job hunting? And how do we, use this for job hunting? So, in fact, at the end of the day, the degree really is an expensive piece of paper because intrinsic value. What the world, as you know, pays for perceived value now. So it's not what you've learned, it's how you apply it to real life that will test whether your time is worthy. So what you have to really convert the intrinsic to perceived, and this is where your marketing skills come into play. Because the world will pay for perceived value, it will not pay for intrinsic value. So you need to convert intrinsic to perceived, get the message out, and do it in the right way. So we're looking for a job. Now, if we're looking for a job, we're selling something. What are we selling when we're looking for a job? Yourself? Anybody else?
That we can create value for the company.
Good, very good. Yes, it's what you're selling is your skill sets, which is the value. That is the value. When people are hiring you, they're hiring you for your skill sets. I was a division director of Robert Half and Staffing, one of the world's largest staffing companies, and we always knew that whenever we get a resume, if a cover letter said on there, I have the following skill sets that may be of interest to you, that was it. That was the golden word. That they have hit my hot button and they know what they're talking about. So I want this again, another thing you want to write down is when you're sending a cover letter to somebody about a job or a project that you may be looking for, you must mention that I have the following skill sets, because the skill set shows your value to them. So the magic word is skill sets, that you solve specific problems with your skill set. So the evidence of this is, you can actually see it here, this is a letter from this is Sanofi Pharmaceuticals, and it says in here, you know, we have probably found another candidate, and see what it says? Whose skill sets best match our needs. All employers know this, and now you know it, that whenever you send a cover letter out, whenever you're talking to somebody, when you're interviewed with a company, tell them that, let's talk about my skill sets. I have the following skill sets. I can do X, Y, and Z. You must always mention skill sets. So, you're put together a CV, but as of today, your CV becomes your competitive value. It's not your curriculum vitae. It is your competitive value, because that's what people are looking for. What incremental and additional value do you bring to me above and beyond somebody else? So when I was studying this, I thought, how do I get this message across? I thought the way to get this message across is to just change the mindset of what a CV is. A CV really is a document that provides competitive value. It's not a curriculum vitae. Again, another point you want to take down right now. So you must get good at developing value propositions, because it's value propositions that add value and makes you a person of value. Now, this is a letter that one of my students sent out, and he got a CEO and the director of human resources called him back within 30 minutes of getting this value proposition. So what I teach people, what I've been teaching you folks this evening is about the value proposition. Here is an example of a letter that got the CEO of the company and the director of human resources to call back within 30 minutes. And they were on a conference call with a young boy who was only 21 years old, because there was a tremendous amount of value. Now I'm going to read this letter to you. I'm going to tell you the key highlights and key points that I'd like you to keep aware of and start to use also. First of all, it says, Dear CEO, I am currently studying for a master's degree in games programming. As part of my course, I am interested in doing a postgraduate project. He didn't ask for a job. He said, I'm looking for a project. We made that very clear. I believe, magic word, I have some skill sets. This is what he said, that will be a benefit to your development team. I'm a CEO. Why? Guys have some skill sets. Interesting for me. My strength is in artificial intelligence, and then he does something very nice that, as you know, this is an upcoming area in games technology, as gaming are looking for realistic physical environments in their games. He's done his research. He knows that in this field is evolving, that real physics is becoming an important part of game programming. So this person knows there is opportunity and value here. And he said that this real physics environment provides a realism of the game. My background is in da-da-da, and then he talks about the chip simulation I created, reduced its size by 91%, I'm able to flow down fluidly. And again, I told him to do this again. My skill sets, because this is a product you're selling, include the following. And these are skills. Look how he's focusing on skills I obtained while I acquired, a computer game. I look forward to any projects that you may have of interest to me. The CEO and the Director of Human Resources rang him and says, what do you want? And again, I'm not trying to impress you, I'm just trying to impress upon you. This is very powerful stuff, ladies and gentlemen. If you master the value proposition, it's really the world becomes your oyster. Because when you go for a job, it's not you versus them or them versus you. It's what you can do for them and what they can do for you. Sure, remember we talked about money is paid for value. If you deliver value, they're more than happy to pay you for money. But you must show the value. You must be able to define and show that value to them. Okay, so this is more close to home. My daughter wrote to this person here, who's a CEO of a company in San Francisco. And again, I received your email. This is CEO of a company in San Francisco. I received your email, and perhaps we can meet this Friday. People respond to value, and it shouldn't surprise you. It shouldn't surprise you that people respond to value, because that is the unit of currency. So, you know, and by definition, if somebody doesn't respond to a value proposition, it's not a value proposition, right? And this is the director of human resources at Visa. I sent him a value proposition, and he sends me back an email saying, "Sure, Ali, when are you back in the Bay Area?" This is the director of human resources at Visa. It was a couple of lines, just say, "Hey, you know, wanted to get some advice, wanted to reach out to you, you know, X, Y, Z." Boom, he responds. So the world responds to value. And I'm very passionate about this because I know if you get good at putting out value propositions, your world will change very quickly. But again, to do good value propositions, you need to master the 5 Ps of marketing. The 5 Ps of marketing is prior preparation prevents poor performance. It sounds easy. Professionals make things look easy. But for you to be successful at doing a good value proposition, you need to have prior preparation. You need to research the company. You need to understand where the opportunities are to add value. You need to see what skill sets that you have that can assist them in their decision making. So the 5 Ps of marketing apply. Prior preparation prevents poor performance. So a value proposition, another way, I was having a discussion with one of my students, and he said, "Oh, what really is a value proposition? Let's talk about that for a while." And I said, a value proposition is really when you enter a conversation that's already going on in somebody's mind. So, you know, when that letter that one of my students sent, that conversation was already going on in the CEO's mind. They were thinking, you know, we're doing artificial physics, it's really important, we need to really get to the next level. So it's like if I go up to, you know, in a bar and somebody's talking about Manchester United and the game that they won, I'll say, "Oh, that's fantastic, that was a great game." I mentioned a conversation that's going on in their head, right? So the real secret to marketing and the real secret to doing good value proposition is to be able to enter a conversation that is already going on in somebody's mind. They're already thinking this, you're just joining along. They say, "That's true." And also, it can be expanded in such and such way. Very, very important. So remember, ladies and gentlemen, people don't reject you. They reject the value you bring to them. So you always must keep calm and mark it on. And also remember that there's nothing more powerful than a value proposition whose time has come. Value propositions are like atom bombs. They really are. They will make your marketing explosive. And if you want to get to a VIP, a very important person, just drop the I. Just drop the I and make them VP. And you make a VP to a VIP, just drop the I. If you want to get to a VIP, just drop the I. Another way to see value propositions, they're a bullet. They have the same power and they have the same impact. Once you write a good value proposition, it's going to happen. So remember, you're only one value proposition away from changing your life. And once you master value, you really master marketing. And you are totally in control of your careers and choices. This is not about finding a job. You're all smart enough, you're going to find a job. That's not the case. The case is, do you find your ideal job? Do you find the job that you really love, that you really want to do, that you really can contribute? I mean, that's what this gives you the opportunity to do when you take my approach to marketing. You can send out resumes and fine, you'll probably feel lucky you'll get to the right person, you'll get the right job. But if you start thinking out value propositions to decision makers who you think you can help and add value to, you'll end up getting your ideal job that you really want to do, like my other students have done. So in summary, let me just wrap up what we've learned today. Marketing is common sense, but it's not so common these days. The world pays for value, but the value it pays for is perceived value. What's in it for me? Value propositions are created through strategic word selection. And I believe that marketing is the answer because it creates perceived value fast and it acts as a catalyst. For you to get what you want, you need to show others that you can deliver the value they want. The best marketers in the world, in my opinion, are those that add most value to other people's lives. And you're only one value proposition from changing your life. You'll be surprised. One value proposition can clearly change your life. So before I wrap up, I want to just say a special thank you to some of my mentors. This is Jay Avery, who's the world's #1 marketer. Jay gets paid like $5,000 per hour for his time. Success Magazine calls him probably the most brilliant marketing mind alive today. Jay's phenomenal, and he taught me to think out of the box. He taught me not to accept the way things are. He said you must always look at things from a different perspective. And that's my publisher. This is David Hancock, founder of Morgan J. Publishing. J. Conrad Levinson, the father of guerrilla marketing, who taught me about consistency and how you must always be consistent in whatever you do. When you build a value proposition, you're consistent in getting out there. And Ray Edwards talked about words. He's one of the world's greatest copywriters, and he taught me about words and the power of words. And when I talked to Ray, he said, words are weapons of marketers. Words are weapons of marketers. Change your words, change your world. And this is Dave Lyons that when we wrote our book, No Cash, No Problem. He did a lot of broker deals with a lot of these types of companies, so he's a brokerage. So anyway, the shortest path to get to where you want also is to get a mentor. And that's the reason I showed you those slides. It's not just to show that I have good mentors. Nobody does it alone. And one piece of advice I like to give you folks is you go through your careers, try to get a mentor. Try to get somebody who's done what you're doing and get under their wing and get their advice. So the shortest way for it from A to Z is to get a mentor who's been there, done it, and can show you. The only reason I get the privilege and opportunity to share what to you today is because I have mentors. And I value their time. And they take you through the shortcuts. So get yourself a mentor. So if you go to my website, alpervez.com, and go to free resources, there's a lot of reports I've written, like 30 reports I've written on these different areas of marketing, everything that we cover. It's there and it's free. So go, please take advantage of that and use it to your beneficial. Some books I highly recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's an excellent book. Never Eat Alone by Keith Pervez. It's very good for networking. We all know these books of networking. Success Principles by Jack Canfield and Good Brothers by Paul Hill. And obviously, My Name is King, and the king will always be found inside of marketing. So, you can follow me on my website, LinkedIn, Facebook. Reach out to me anytime you want. This is my email. And my special thanks goes to Clark Lashart, Matt Clark, founder of Kingdom Production. I went through this presentation with him. I just, I bounced some ideas from him as a producer. I said, what do you think? So he was superb, Matt was. And Vicky, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak here today. Like Esther College and my Wi-Fi show has been very supportive in everything that I've done. It's hard work. You have to have a real passion for what you want to do if you want to really be successful. So I thank her also. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this is my story, and I'm sticking to it.
For sharing his insights with us today, in marketing. And just wondering, has anybody got any questions at all that you would like to find out?
I just wonder, sorry, I didn't catch your information. You just said that marketing converts intrinsic value to perceived value by sending out a message, which is a value proposition.
Yes.
I just wonder, in the example that the student sent an email to
yes.
the CEO, isn't it the case that he's correctly identifying the intrinsic value of what the company actually needs rather than the perceived value, because you still have to perceive the perceived value of the employers.
Yes, that's an interesting question. That's a very good question. I think there's two levels. There's the intrinsic perceived from the employer and the intrinsic perceived of the person providing the value, right? So in my case, Ellie, they have intrinsic value of their product. But what they're looking for is perceived value. They're looking for what people don't buy intrinsic value; they buy perceived value, right? So they're looking for what can Ellie do for me? What value can he add, right? So they're looking for perceived value. You're welcome. Yes. Yes, please.
Could you go over something that doesn't appear to have a value for the other side? I'm thinking of things like scholarships where you receive a lot of money but the other person doesn't really receive anything.
No, but they have. That's the whole thing they have. When somebody issues you a scholarship, okay, you get the scholarship by providing value to them, right? They're giving you the scholarship because you will take the money, you will do the course, and then you will do something of greater benefit for society and community with that. That's the value to them. They're hoping that when they give you the money, that you'll do your course, whatever that course may be, and then you will use that. You'll benefit from that knowledge to the greater good of mankind. Does that make sense? Please feel free. This is a small group, so I want to make sure I address that yours question.
How would you distinguish the truly good stuff, given that marketing is ubiquitous nowadays?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question again.
How would you distinguish the truly good stuff, given that marketing is ubiquitous nowadays?
Well, when you say about the truly good stuff, I think what it is this is what Jay said. The problem with marketing is everybody tries to commoditize things, and your goal is not to be a commodity. When you do a value proposition, you're climbing above being a commodity, and you're showing somebody, and not everybody gets a degree, everybody does chemistry or physics or biology. You see how Alan distinguished